Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Virgilio DeSavo, owner operator of DeSavo Painting, Decorating, Servicing, GTA in Vaughan and Woodbridge. Happy birthday to you.
I love it. Never had a birthday yet.
I only picked that song because
Is it your birthday today?
it is the master painter, my uncle Virgilio DeSavo. It's his birthday today, June 30th, 1962. I hope I got that right.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday there. Okay,
That's our first
life with him.
birthday.
Yeah, we like that.
Wow, really breaking some virginities here.
So we've got Vincent Amadeus.
Amadeo is my middle name.
Middle
It's
name.
Vincent Amadeo Maida.
Okay, and the construction company is...
Amadeus Custom Construction.
What do you do?
Okay, so
No, like the brief. The brief. Like what is the one pointer, the one sentence, the elevator pitch?
well, I sang birthday for my uncle Virgilio. So I'm a painter by trade, and it's all because of him.
Okay.
So he taught me everything about painting. My first house we did was in 2005, 16th Side Road. I pass it all the time, and I love it. Massive home. I started off filling baseboards, casing, sweeping, going to the truck, clean this, grab that. Did a couple summers worth of that, and then that started into, sand those holes that you filled, and run that caulking, and then, maybe.
Okay. Don't get ahead of yourself. So we're going to talk a lot about finishing, but also we're going to talk a lot about because you're like probably half our age.
I'm exactly half your age.
Are you kidding me?
Wow.
Wow. So you're 12.
Who does your makeup? I'm 24.
Wow. Holy cow.
Wow. That's amazing.
Half our age. Okay, so we've got a lot to talk about.
Very
So
excited.
I want we totally want to know a lot more about you and try to figure out and go down this path. And I know, Vincent, you're probably
Wait a second.
little...
Will he be the youngest that we've had on?
You might be.
Oh boy.
You
Wow,
might be.
this
Because
is
Flo and
very
Omid were
interesting.
25. You might be the youngest that you've had. So... Pressure. So we're going to talk. This is going to be an interesting podcast. So I'm glad, first of all, that you're in. I'm glad that you finally made the time to come in and we scheduled it. I know that we were chatting for a little bit to try to get this whole thing going on. We are doing our 90th show. This is our 90th show. 90, gentlemen, ladies, gentlemen, everybody.
You know what? That birthday song couldn't have been any more proper than today.
90th show. I've already had a shout out from somebody reaching out to me asking, can I be the 99th? I was going, I'll talk to Carlito and I'll see what I can do.
As long as he's a hockey player and he likes the Oilers.
All right. So I want to get right into the show. And we have our first segment.
History with Manny.
Look at that, eh? I want to ask you, Vincent and Carlito. When did actual lumber size change to nominal lumber size?
That's a really good question. It must have been in the 70s.
You're off a little bit. What do you think,
I'm
Vincent?
going to say before the 70s.
Yeah. But around when?
55.
64.
64, eh?
64 is when we stopped using true 2-inch by 4-inch lumber and other 2 by 8 and so on. And we changed it over to 1.5 to 3.5.
So stupid.
So I agree with you, right? And it's just saying that it was a 34% reduction in actual volume of wood use. Basically, it was coined the term selling air. So you were selling 2x4s, but you were actually selling 1.5 by 3.5. So you were selling air. That's what that's all about, right? I'm just trying to figure out, it was after the World War I, the increase of demand for construction lumber led to the first national size standard, which was 1924. This was revised in 26, 28, 39, 53, and yet still one more revision, which basically became what we know today in 64. So we're so used to from 64 to now 2020, we've been using the 1.5 to 3.5. And that was
History with Manny. That was very interesting, Manny.
I know. To find that kind of stuff out is really interesting because I'm sure a lot of people don't know. And if they're listening now, they do know, right?
I call that useless information
it's
that
not.
always comes in handy in conversations.
Instead of staring at breasts, you can bring this up. We are at Skylux Studios.
And we
At
always want to
Skylux
say
Roofing.
thank you to Mark for having us here.
This is a great facility to record our podcast. We have the door open, so if you start hearing the cut shop at the side there, we won't say that they're cut. Are they? Chop shop?
No, we're saying it.
Just wouldn't it be funny if they actually walk in? What can't that be in the podcast, eh?
I don't think there's any Colombians over there.
Was that Colombian? I thought
Cuban,
that was
Cuban, Colombian.
whatever. You picked the nationality. Let's get back to the 24-year-old. Vincent, tell us everything about you. 24 years old. What age did you get into construction? So it was your uncle?
Yes, Virgilio.
The uncle is
Okay.
what started everything, and then you were at what age were you at that you got the bug?
It must have been 10, 11 years old.
Holy cow!
You saw him painting? You
Wait
saw
a
him-
second.
I
Wait a
didn't see
second.
him.
Before we go any farther, what is your nationality?
Well, me and my parents, we were both in Canada, born in Canada, but both of their parents, they were born in Italy. So my mom's side is from Salerno, and my dad's side is Calabrese.
I know
Wow.
where Calabrese is, but where's Salerno?
You're going to have to ask them.
Oh, okay. I
Sorry,
don't even
guys.
know where that is.
No,
I'm
I
trying to
haven't been
figure out.
Italy
No, it's just
lately.
it's such an early age to start. So I condemn them to I condemn them.
You condemned them.
I condemn
my
them.
goodness.
Other than Virgilio, I have no one in construction in my family.
That's it. Just the two of you guys.
Okay, so on my dad's side, no one whatsoever. On my mom's side, my uncle Virgilio, he operates disabled painting and decorating, and his brother Sam, he's one of the managers at like a Magna plant. So he's in the trades, but not necessarily the construction industry, but blue collar. If Carlito, blue collar.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised that your dad. So may I ask, what does your dad do?
He's a doctor.
Wow.
So why didn't you get into medical?
Honestly, I knew from day one I wanted to do something with my hands. I would see construction every day, walking downtown with him, looking at the guys in the skyscrapers building the stuff, and residential construction. We'd see all these renovations and new builds being done in the area. I live in Vaughan, so we see construction all the time, whether it's roads or high-rise, custom homes.
There's a lot of
We see it all
construction
the
going
time.
up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay. All right. So
So-
now you got the bug.
I have a bug.
Well, how did you? Was he babysitting you that he had to bring you along to work?
No, okay. I'm pretty sure that how it went like this. We're at my nonna's house, and my uncle is doing a wallpaper job at one of their neighbors. And I think it was during the summer, of course, when I wasn't in school. And I might have went with him for a day, help him clean up a little. And it just turned into, I'm home during the summer. And I'm a kid too, so I'm watching, if anything, the landscapers cut the grass. That's as much construction as I'm getting. But I asked him, Zio, let me go to work with you. And, ever since, he wasn't going to say no. Hey, free labor at that time, why not?
You're a teenager at this time?
11 years old.
That house, when I started in 05, I was probably like 11. But when I was getting more on the tools, that's when I was in high school and stuff, during those summers and those weekends. and those
16,
holidays.
17,
Yeah,
18.
when I was more of we'll call it like a kid, filling holes, running to the truck, sweeping, cleaning. Going into high school, maybe you'd put the first coat of primer on, or maybe you would cut the white in the ceiling so we can cut the wall color, or maybe you can run the caulking, and then it turned into like after high school and after college, boom, full-time sub. You're
Is it true that if you don't pay, because to have a teenager on a job site is a little risky, but if you don't pay them, Ministry of Labor can't do anything? I think that's the truth. That's what I've read or spoken to somebody about.
I don't know, but that's a whole other argument. Trying to prove that. And
No, as long as you're not paying them, so they're volunteering, legally speaking, you can have them on the job site, I think, because they have to learn.
Well, China has people working at 7.
God. Back to reality, Vincent. We just lost 1 billion listeners.
Yeah.
7 billion.
He's got his numbers down.
You're like fascinated by the way he's doing things, and you're mesmerized that you want to learn how to do these things.
I was really lucky to have him be so good at what he does. He really is like the best painter I've ever seen. Like the lines he cuts, it's mesmerizing. Like it's almost
Old school.
Oh, old school.
He's not
Old
spraying,
school.
taping. He's not doing.
Come on.
Oh, he's not doing any. Oh, interesting. He's not doing any of that.
Hold on. When I mean taping, he's taping his lines.
Yes.
You're not going to get a straighter line than that.
Yeah.
I know people say it's cheating, this and that. No, you're going to get a laser
Who
No,
said
job.
that?
no
I never
such
said
thing
that.
as cheating.
I never said that.
And you know what? The people who said, "Oh, you're cheating with the tape," those are the guys who are doing the shitty job.
That's-
Because
that's
they
the
don't know
truth.
what true straight lines should look like and all that kind of stuff.
He's
He's spraying the 3 coats of primer on the door, sanding 5
3
times.
coats?
I love
he's-
it.
He's
Oh.
amazing.
I love a guy
He's
that
truly
primes.
an artist. Like we that house in 05, that was all oil. That was all like old school kind of
What do you prefer? Do you prefer MDF or Poplar?
When it comes to paneling, obviously MDF, but you're not going to be spraying that new Lenmar Duralac that everyone's using on it. You're going to spray your first coat with a sealing primer, a primer that seals the wood. So you're going to want to use something like the Fresh Start by Benjamin Moore, or Benjamin Moore carries it. It's an Insulix product. They make sticks and Aqualock. The product's called Aqualock Primer. They also make cabinet coat. So that MDF, if you don't seal it, you're going to get
Hairs.
You're going to get the hairs.
Swelling.
And even though you sand those hairs down, if it's not sealed, once you spray that second coat of primer over those unsealed hairs, they're going to come right back up. If you spray your first coat of primer with a sealable primer, sand it, and then spray your Duralac over top of that, which is like a topping primer, which is like sands very powdery and leaves a nice finish.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
I like to use the Duralac for my second coat of primer. I want to anything that touches bare wood, bare MDF, bare anything, you want to use the best you can use.
Well, I take it you're a Benjamin Moore guy, obviously.
I am a Benjamin Moore guy.
Well,
And I'm
you're
dabbling
not.
with PPG though too.
No, I mean, I don't mind Benjamin Moore.
Wait, you like PPG too?
I'm dabbling with their gloss industrial kind of stuff.
Why is that?
I don't know. You know, I saw that trend with the fine paints, the
Yep.
Pharaoh and Ball.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's not easy. You can't
To
spray
work with?
it too heavy. Oh yeah, applying it, prepping for it.
It's perfection. You got one shot at that kind of thing?
You have one shot, and if you screw up that first shot, you pretty much have to start all over. If you spray that product on too heavy, you're going to get pitting, and then you're going to have to sand it down and fill those pits and reprime and respray, and it's not worth doing. I'll be honest.
But I'm sure that you've made mistakes too when you were
Oh, yeah.
learning, because you had to,
yeah.
that's how you learn. You learn from the mistakes, right? I think back to the
And I'm
first time I
still-
ever plastered. It's a joke, man. I would hit somebody if they did it that
But
way.
you know what? No job's ever the same. Like, you could plaster for 30 years, and the wall will always seem to surprise you. The compound will always change on you.
Yep.
Something will flash, temperature,
and it all depends on the house too.
Yeah.
It all depends on how it was built originally.
how it conducts. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're a George Brown boy.
Yes, I am.
Oh.
Do you like it? Did you like it? Did you learn? What's the story with George Brown? So for everybody that's in the States, I guess just construction.
college.
Yeah, it's a college. And what was the program?
Construction engineering.
Nice.
Okay. I've actually guest spoke at George Brown.
I've been there twice while you guys spoke.
Oh, were you there?
Oh, I was there.
Sorry, I
Give me
didn't
an
recognize you. I'm going to blame that up to my age,
Oh,
okay?
wait until we get into this.
No, you know what? I have actually reached out recently back to George Brown because I wanted to do more. And Carlito and I actually wanted to do a podcast there. We wanted to go there and have an open forum and do that. We're still working on it. But then this little thing called fucking COVID came up, and all of a sudden things changed and people's afraid of everything. And we're still working. You're still working, aren't you?
Never been.
Yeah, so it's just like
never been
construction.
different.
I love that construction. And I do want to veer off just a tiny bit about the whole COVID thing. I strongly believe that COVID has taught people who were not hardworking to be less hardworking and to accept the fact that they can do less and get paid the same amount. And it's really annoying because the construction sector has not stopped. We are working crazy hours. But the problem is that our suppliers and the way the distribution is and how everything is set up, that laziness dial has just veered off, man.
Well,
It's just
I
insane.
also feel that they're letting us use up their old stock. Some new stuff isn't coming in.
But I learned really quickly that Home Depot was threatened when COVID showed up. They honestly believed that they were going to shut down half the stores across North America, US and Canada. They honestly believed that that was going to happen. So they pulled back on all the suppliers, all the material coming in, and the exact opposite happened. And now we have this surge where you can't get anything. It's hard to get things, and things are taking longer. But I just wanted to veer off in a tiny bit. George Brown, you tell us, was it good, bad, ugly? What's the story?
It was great. It was fun.
You did 4-year
I-
program, 3-year?
I did the 3-year.
Okay.
You know, it taught me a lot about estimating, a little bit of construction management, learning the divisions of construction and everything like that. When you're out of there, you don't.
You retain it?
You'll retain what you've done over and over and over, and that was the estimating course. I think it was Omid who said he has that Excel spreadsheet. I still have that Excel spreadsheet.
Do you
Oh,
find
really?
it realistic?
Is it
you're-
applicable
you're
to
not-
today?
Okay, well, that spreadsheet's just going to say, okay, it sorts everything out into, you know, you have this amount of square foot, you charge this much per square foot, this is what you're going to make, this is what you charge the client, it's more for getting, like, takeoff kind of stuff.
Okay.
Like takeoffs. I wouldn't take that spreadsheet and give it to a contractor and say, this is your price. You still have to take that spreadsheet, put it into a contract or some sort of document to give to your client. Taking the drawing, the takeoffs, putting it into the spreadsheet, you know, they taught you all about that and getting organized and and stuff like that.
Which a lot of guys don't realize that's half of a construction.
It is, but you also have to know like what you're taking off.
Yeah.
Okay, so say I graduate from George Brown, I go work for a big drywall company, and I estimate a job. You have to work in the drywall industry before you even go quote that job. Just because you have that schooling experience and all that kind of stuff, that's not good enough. You still need that real life. You need to have those mistakes under your belt. You have to have those losses.
Well said.
For sure.
To make it.
Was George Brown a real world experience?
No, not at all.
Was it anywhere near real world experience?
No.
10% of real world experience.
Maybe if you ask my dad, who's a doctor, that's what construction is like. That's how it is.
I know,
you
but it's
really
kind of like asking somebody on a TV rental show.
Yeah.
If you could only see my eyes right now.
Jab, jab, jab. So you took what you took from George
I took
Brown.
what I took, yeah, and I kind of ran with it.
Well, let me ask you, what did you take from that? Like, what are you actually really using? So you're using a spreadsheet. What else did you take out of that whole 3 years?
Some of the software, Plan Swift for takeoffs, that really helped. I had no idea that even existed.
You still use it to today?
The free trial, yeah.
Because it's a money grab.
It's a money grab. I still like printing the drawings and looking at it like that and writing it all down and that kind of stuff too. But Plan Swift, man, you're not going to miss a square foot. When it comes to takeoffs and stuff, you need to use your technology and you got to be up to date with the kind of stuff like that.
You get drawings.
When it comes to schooling and stuff, that's been so far kind of away from me. I've been focusing so much on.
When did you get out of school? How old were you when you got out of school?
20-ish, maybe 20, 19.
You remember those days, Carlito, when you're 20-something and all of a sudden 4 years feels like 4 decades?
I mean, you couldn't ask me what high school I went to. Really, guys, I have never looked back.
Really?
Never looked back. Yeah.
Gone. So now you're going forward.
Well, before we go too far ahead, how was Manny at the speech when you were at the college? Did you feel like he left something out that he could have used?
Jab, jab.
No. It was really awesome that, in fact, I had such a great time in there. I remember asking him when you were going to do the next one. That's,
long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago. It was awesome listening to a real contractor talk about his everyday experiences and talk about his clients and stuff. Like the stories you shared, unbelievable.
Thanks.
I couldn't have professors
Appreciate
share that kind of stuff.
Really? The professors weren't sharing that kind of shit?
And the professors were industry professionals too. Like I had an architect who ran his own firm, a guy who worked for Acon part-time. I think their issue is they were not on the tools enough.
I always want to see the results coming out of someone actually that went to school.
I agree with you regarding, that's why I think it's important for people that are in the industry to actually go to the schools or go to anything, like go to events, go to trade events, go to everything and just speak. Now, this is something that I personally learned from Jim Carrick because he was more than willing to always offer up his advice. If he bumps into somebody, he's always stopping and he'll spend a few minutes and he's basically giving you an opportunity to ask whatever questions you want, and a lot of people are nice. I've been recognized at so many places. I'm in my personal time, I'm in my personal space. People are still very nice about it and they'll just reach out and ask me questions and I'll make the effort to stop and answer. I really do. I think it's important that anybody that's gone ahead should actually look to everybody that's looking to get ahead.
Well, there's another level also. Like, say I'm in a big box store and I hear an employee telling a customer the wrong information. I'll let that guy finish up and then I'll be like, hey, excuse me, can you come over here for a second? They'll be like, yeah. And I'll say, that guy just fed you a whole bunch of bullshit. It's about selling the product that's here. I'm going to tell you what you should really use. And you know what? I think contractors hearing other people that are in that situation just take a second and stop and give their 2 cents to somebody to help them out.
You know what, Vincent? Here's something that I want to ask you. What do you want to ask us? Because we've got a few years of experience over you. And trust me, in the last 2 years of my construction life, I've gone through a lot of shit that I haven't shared. Carlito knows about it, right? But I've gone through a lot of shit. And it's really funny. I was having a conversation about the shit that I've been going through with somebody that I know in my personal life. And they were asking me, do you remember how you were, like basically spiritually, mentally, physically a year ago? And now look at how you are now. And we all know that shit happens and shit will disappear and good stuff is going to happen eventually. So are there any questions you want to ask us? Because he's been through a lot of shit too. and he's got the years of experience on that fake TV show, right?
Oh my God, if you could see my fist right now.
I've got the experience of real construction. Is there anything you want to ask?
What does it take for a young kid to, like, how do we get our first shot from two guys like you? What does it take? I know what you're saying. I know you're get
saying.
Our first job, pretty
so
much. From,
I got my first
You
build.
don't know me. You haven't seen my work.
I know.
We don't post on Instagram, but I know that I'm capable of doing the job with my guys. And
I don't know how you feel, Carlito, but I
that's
always.
a loaded question.
No. I always give anybody a shot, and I've said it over and over. I don't care if you have 1 day experience or 1,000 days experience. I will still treat you exactly the same way. I know within the first hour if you've got a work ethic that actually lines up with my agenda. Mm-hmm. That's really important to me, right? So if I see that, great. If I don't see that, then we're not going to get along. I'm more than willing.
But at that time, you've already given them the first shot. So you've seen, like, they've came onto your job site, you've given them that first shot already.
Okay.
But cold calling someone who's building a beautiful house in King City, and they say, well, what are you going to charge per square foot?
You know what?
Can't have that number on the top of your head to give them that.
Lately, a lot of guys have been reaching out, and I actually wanted to make the announcement and let everybody know that I want to expand my circle. I really want to start opening up and offering more people into my circle so then I can have a bigger Rolodex. I can have more than one HVAC. I can have more than one plumber. I can have one more of every single trade so I can give them a shot and try it out because I want to expand. I'm really hungry about expanding. All it really takes is I tell everybody that reaches out to me, they'll DM me. They'll go, listen, you don't know who I am, exactly how you just stated. They'll give me their digits. They'll go, listen, can I get a shot? Can I present? Can I quote? Can I whatever? Just give me one chance. And I'll be like, listen, here's my email. Drop me a line every so often. You're not going to be interrupting my life. Drop me a line every so often. You don't drop me a line every single day? Do it. It's not going to bother me. You want to drop me a line every single week? Do it. It's not going to bother me. I say, just please stay in touch because lots of people reach out to me. And dude, I get older, so it's not that I forget things. It's just I've got so much things to remember. And so I just tell people, you're not disturbing me. Just drop me a line every single time. So I think you, and like we saw this with other people, Chris from last week, he was in the yellow pages looking for people that he wanted to just look at and just shadow. And that was back in the 2000s. But I say to any young person out there, just constantly drop them a line. And just remind them who you are, where you are, what you offer. Tell them about what you did this week lately. If you learned something new, tell them about that. We're going to want to hear that because then what's going to happen is we're going to remember your name. We're going to remember the handle. We're going to remember the phone number.
I think, first of all, I'm really proud of you to become a caveman. And you said Rolodex. That really,
I know what that is, by the way.
Yeah, well, I was surprised that he actually used that because he is a computer freak. So I'm pretty proud of him that he said that. No, but getting to the realistic part of it, things are changing really fast, and I think that anyone that's going to take this industry really seriously should do a few things. And if they want a better chance of working somewhere, I have about 14 certificates under me. I could pretty much walk into any job site,
working at heights, all
I
that
have
kind of stuff.
everything.
Yep.
Like I have
to thank the union for that because I got whack of those too.
I want to get into that with you, but that is so important to have.
Sure.
An
They won't look at you
employer,
without the
an
WSIB.
employer hiring someone. I will hire you before I hire 100 other guys that have a better resume than you, only because it tells me something. You're serious. Yeah. If you went out and got those tickets and you're ready to roll, and you've already saved my company a couple $1,000s by getting that, that's everything to me. So like if anybody's listening, if you're really serious about it, an employer will take you so much. Like if I have Manny and say he's 24 right now and he has no tickets and you approach me at 24 and he's been in the field 5 years more, I will take you in a heartbeat faster. Because I already know that you're safe. I already know that you're aware. I already know that you're serious. The other guy's just talking. If anybody's listening out there, I want that yin yang. Like it's great to, reach out and speak to people, but showing people how serious you are is everything.
I think it's important that anybody who's looking to hustle and try to get some work, I think you just got to leave a lasting impression. Don't be annoying, be honest. And I think that if you don't try to make a caricature of yourself and just be yourself, you're going to get a lot further. So if you're open and upfront and just go, listen, Manny, I like what you do. I like your work. I'd love to be on your job site one day. Can you please consider me? I'll automatically reply. I've always replied to every single person who's not a dick. right? And
Honestly,
I've never.
man, I was really surprised you responded to
Dude,
me. I'm like, holy
I
shit,
reply
man. These
to
guys are real.
everybody. I reply
really
to
does.
everybody. If you're a dick, I do not reply to you. I've got a dick. I don't need another dick in my
I'm the dick
life.
here.
Yeah. So I reply to everybody. I make the effort to reply to everybody, and I just tell everybody, here's my email, and drop me a line every single. I don't care if it's every day, honestly. So I just think if you stay true to yourself, be honest, and let them know exactly what you're looking for, someone will listen. They're listening. And I think in construction, the good guys want to listen, they want to hear it, and they want to see the young guys that are hungry, that want to move forward. We only have so many more years in construction. You guys have a lot more years in construction. And we want to see guys stay in this business and grow this business and move it forward. I think in the last, as bad as IG has been in social media, I think construction actually has moved forward leaps and bounds.
I don't want to blame IG for this.
No, I'm saying about the fake stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that guys taking a lot of pride in social media. They're showing off proper pride, like real pride. That has propelled this industry forward. That's what I just think.
I think we hogged enough. I think should we get back to him?
Yeah, let's get right back to Vincent. So were there any other questions? I just wanted to throw that out to you, but
No, I mean, I have a bunch, but I mean,
there's a bunch, and then keep on bringing them up.
You're got me so curious now. You know, you've got your tickets. You're 24. What union are you part of, or what union were you part?
1891 Painters and Allied Trades.
For how
I know
long?
that.
How long was that?
I'm in my second year. I'm not. Yeah.
Newbie.
You're no longer
I'm
there.
Yeah. No, I'm still there.
Oh,
I
you're
still
still
pay my
there.
dues
Excellent.
And, yeah. So right now I'm subbing for a non-union outfit, but I was subbing for a union outfit. That's how I kind of got in there, and I'm gonna stick in there. You know, even if I'm not gonna be subbing for a union company, you know, for your benefits and all that, and it gives you the opportunity.
Do you have a
sub
pension
for-
also?
When you work for a union outfit, yes.
Yeah.
So, you know, as long as I stick with my union, I can sub with that union outfit, you know, as long as they're happy and give me that work, I'll stick with that union company when they're looking for manpower. I'll tell you, the non-union outfit, it's a lot different. They're all cowboys, man. It's
Really? I thought you, like Carlito, used to talk about our union.
non-union guys.
Are not our cowboys.
Union guys, I found the drywall union guys very professional. They know what they're doing. They're very
serious,
serious about
fast.
their stuff. Oh, and they're fast.
Hard
oh my
workers.
gosh, very hard.
But the work?
hardest working guys.
The work?
Immaculate work.
You know what? I'm so happy you said that. Thank you.
Oh, I love the drywall union. Oh my God, comparing the quality, the board hanging at the job I'm on now compared to the high rise I was at. You can't compare. Every single
High rise
board,
was non-union?
high rise was union. I'm at a 10-story right now. It's non-union, which is strange. But every other trade in there is union. But it's an open shop. The contractor is an open shop, so the drywall contractor is non-union.
So
apparently the steward's in there all the time, and he just gives them shit. But
do
apparently
you
that's okay. I don't
do you
know.
find the education from union guys higher or more realistic than the cowboys?
You can tell a union guy go build that shaft wall and walk away. You can't tell those non-union guys go build that shaft wall
Wow,
and
that's
walk away.
very well said.
You know what? That's true.
They'll
I'd
look,
agree
where
with
do I
that,
put
honestly.
The caulking, and there's so many moving parts in commercial. It's insane. You guys said guys who start in commercial end up, you know, in
Custom.
end up in custom. I know why. I mean, there's no way if I didn't go into commercial, I wouldn't know what, you know, a denser drywall product would be. I don't know.
Fire
you know, these
stops.
laminating compounds, all that kind of stuff. Fire stopping is a big one. Fire taping. But I have no idea.
So union was really, it sounds like
More
that was
than
your
George
real
Brown.
school.
That was my real school.
That was your real school.
Drywall school.
Really?
Yeah, loved it. Yeah.
So you learned a
Move,
lot.
Move. Let's go. Epa, let's go.
So
Yeah.
There's Irish guys on the site?
No, yeah, a lot of Croatska, let me tell you.
no way.
Oh, and the
Of
union
course,
bits,
you
I
need
loved
tall
it.
guys there.
Oh, they were huge. 6'5" minimum.
So
Hang on, slow down.
And Carlito, Slivovitska every
Oh
morning.
yeah, I love it, man. You don't want to see me on that stuff.
All right, so we're talking to Vincent from Amadeus Custom Construction. We got to do a little segment here, bro.
Building code talk with Manny.
I want to do a building code talk, but I wanted to actually talk about something interesting about an engineer structural. I thought it was really interesting that I'm on a current build right now that I haven't divulged just yet because I've nicknamed it internally the Disney project. just because of the amount of Mickey Mouse that's been going on up until this point.
You're
And
doing a really
Goofy.
good job, though. You're cleaning it up very well.
Dude, it's good. It's good. It's getting there. But I found something interesting that it's a project that has, it's a renovation, technically speaking, that's removed the front wall, removed the back wall, did an addition, did an underpinning, kept the side walls, added a third floor. Structure. Let's talk about structure. The engineer has decided that on the new third floor and on the second floor to add any perpendicular walls with 3/4 ply to be skinned on every single perpendicular wall. Doesn't matter if the wall is 2 feet or 6 feet.
So you're talking about
vertical surfaces. So we have to PL, not Portuguese luck, actual glue.
I love that one from Marcelino. Oh my God.
We love that one. And then we have to put nails every 6 inches. And any splits or any joints.
But you know why nails, right?
I totally understand why, right? I think there was a TV show that kept on using screws. I can't remember, but
Structural, yes.
Yeah,
Glue
that's
and
whatever.
screw.
Shear straight. I don't know, but nobody really wanted to teach the guy who's looking at cue cards, the Marlon Brando of construction.
Yeah, those weren't structural walls, by the way.
So glue 6-inch, and then any butt joints needed a backing of 2x4 or 2x6 on it, right? This was to prevent wind lateral movement. So we've been doing this, and it's been getting stronger. And then on the main floor, there is 2 steel beams that have to connect to a steel beam from the second floor to the basement. This is what he spec'd out. So my first day on there, I requested the engineer to be there to walk it through, and he was so lackadaisy about it that he just said certain key walls. By the end of the meeting, he said, no, let's do every single perpendicular wall. Now, we all know that engineers overdo things and they just want to try stuff. But I'm learning that this 3/4 ply skinning thing, it actually works really well, I think. I think it works really well. And
It
then
works for now until you start running things.
Well,
Was he
here's
specific on what direction to run the plywood?
no, he didn't care about it. As long
So
as
what
that
makes
it
it
was
so special?
always a continuous edge on a solid stud surface. That's all he cared about.
Interesting.
Well,
and-
it's just like drywall, and they're like you don't have to stagger drywall.
But Carlito, you got a very good point. It's becoming a nightmare for mechanical. So all the boxes have to be chopped out and moved forward now. You're having a harder time to run certain things. I even had
It'd be nice to have those screws so you can just unscrew it. And
nails. He wanted nails. We even had the trim person there, the rep there, and she was like insisting not to put a sheet of ply because it was going to make it more difficult to put the Crowder pocket door track in there. And I just looked at the labor that was there. I was going, you either work with me or you work with her. Which one is it? So I go, the ply goes up. I don't care. They could figure out.
no,
how
it's got to get done right the first
That's
time,
exactly it.
and then figure it out.
That's exactly it. But so I just wanted to share that as part of, I think it's interesting because I think we have to work with the engineers, but this is one thing that's new to me because I'm used to steel beams being welded from a vertical to a horizontal and then connected like a carrier, right? And that's what's helping with the lateral. It was an interesting talk with this engineer about rough terrain. You ever heard that term?
Never.
So-
Not in building.
Any building in an urban setting is considered rough terrain building, a rough terrain dwelling.
So that's some new lingo from engineers.
That's what they consider it. So, but I said the definition of rough terrain would mean that a house is actually in a certain unstable geological...
Like rocks and
something like that. He
sand
goes,
and-
no, it's an urban dwelling. If it was an open house in an open field, it would be... what was the term that he used? Air terrain or some shit like that. I can't remember that one.
And they taught him this instructional engineering.
This is what they taught him. And what I loved is that I was outside on the phone and I saw a white Lexus pull up and just, you guys take a guess of where he parked.
Right in the middle of the freaking
Wait,
driveway.
no. in two lanes sideways.
Right in on an angle, right on the sidewalk, right in front of the fence,
What an
right
idiot.
boom, right in the center. That's it. And I'm like, I think the engineer's here. And sure enough, it was the engineer.
Did
there,
anyone
right?
put any nails behind his...
No,
cars?
we don't do
Some
that.
Portuguese luck in that door handle.
That's
You know what?
mean.
I can
That's
tell
mean,
he's been
Vincent.
working with the union.
That's mean. Okay, and that was
Building code talk with Manny.
When
Back
you're parking
to
in
Vincent.
underground garages, anything can happen.
That's right.
okay. So back to Amadeus Custom Construction. Union was good. Union was your school.
Union was my school.
That's good to hear. Listen,
I'm still learning. Hey, I'm no journeyman taper, journeyman
No,
this.
I'm really proud of you because so many people that haven't allowed or enjoyed the experience of the union and what it has to offer have had negative feedback about it. And you're probably, next to myself, the only other person that's actually gave good feedback to the union.
The camaraderie alone so cool.
Yeah.
It is like you're going to battle with these guys. It's,
You are.
hey, look, okay, you're building a freaking building. That's it. But the camaraderie of walking out of that building with, 4 or 5 tapers in that crew, and, we looked back and, there's 2,000 feet of board done, 5,000 feet of board done.
They just move, huh?
Move, man.
But not just move. It got done right. Because there's so many people overviewing all their work. It's worse than having an inspector.
Yeah.
And that's all 5/8 board, isn't it?
Not all. Not all.
Okay.
The partition walls, like the common partition walls, were all 1/2 inch, an 1 5/8 stud. Which,
Okay.
I don't know, but all the
1 5/8
inch and
stud.
5/8.
Yeah, it's commercial, residential.
I had no idea that you can put like a 1-inch door, maybe 1.5 inch, 1.1/8 thick door with your door stop, and it all fits in like a 2-inch door jamb.
But it has to be metal.
These were MDF jams.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they've changed
but
some
the
stuff.
interior partition doors, the suite entry door was a solid masonry
Fire rated, yeah.
fire rated door. Yeah.
In some city, that 1 5/8 is considered a resilient channel. That's a stud.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most buildings
Yeah.
are made out of that. There's not enough room.
Wow.
Yeah. I do a lot of high-rise work, and every time I open up a wall, it's 1 5/8.
Wow. I want to keep on going. What? That's fascinating.
The
I don't
union
give
was
a shit.
good, but non-union was even better because the
Whoa.
non-union is
I want to hear this.
the non-union is an all-you-can-eat buffet. You walk onto site, there's not 5, 6 tapers, whatever. There's like 3. There's 3. We got 120 units. Okay, you're doing a floor, you're doing a floor, you're doing a floor, and then you can all do the hallways after. The work is nuts because they don't have a union to go grab 10 more guys from. So the work for the
Interesting.
piece workers for a non-union company, you're making cake, man. It's nuts.
Really?
There's no limit. If you tell your foreman, hey, I want all of the 9th floor, all of it. Okay, well, I mean, if you're a solo guy, he's gonna look at you like you have 3 heads. But if you brought your crew of 3 guys with you, yeah, he'll consider giving you the floor. 100%. Yeah.
Wow. So are you a piece worker?
Piece
or
worker.
So you do square footage?
Square footage.
Nice.
Yeah. And also the pay non-union was double what union is. So union, they're giving you anywhere from 35 to, we'll call it, in the book, the union is giving you 32 cents a square foot.
32 cents.
a foot.
Yeah, but you have
Off
to
the book,
remember,
when you
you
tally up
have
all your board.
everything covered in there. Your benefits,
Yeah,
pension, you have all your safety, everything's up to date, helmets, everything else, right?
Well, PPE you're supplying yourself. You come in with your bag of tools. That's it. Your lunch, your coffee. You go to work for those 8 hours. You go home. That's the nice thing about the union, and that's what was nice.
So would you choose to stay in union land or non-union land?
Non-union, only because it's capped. Like the crew. If I'm going to take on a non-union project, I can get a crew of 5 guys tomorrow, and start tomorrow, instead of going and getting a union slip, but also getting my company unionized and paying for that, and paying for all my guys to be on the union, and
Making
stuff
sure
like that.
everybody's safe and have
More
all their
rules.
tickets.
More
Yeah, and then you
rules.
have to, that invoice, the bill you get after, you have to divvy it up with all your union guys, and it's a little trickier than that. Non-union, you can pay your guys, here you go, here you go, here you go, and not tell the GC anything. The union, the GC knows what you're giving your guys. You're billing your guys. And he's going to say, okay, Vince is going to make 30%, Bob's going to make 20, Jim's going to make 20. Non-union, the contractor doesn't care. He's going to give me your invoice. That's it. That's all. That's it.
And what you're saying is you learned more in the union. You have a better chance of making more money.
second.
Not union.
I learned everything in the union, but you'll make a lot more money. You're not capped in a non-union outfit. So in a non-union outfit, you can go nuts. You can make all.
So you'll make more money in non-union?
I think so.
But you can also make a lot of mistakes too.
Yeah, but same thing with the union.
Okay,
too.
so from what I've heard, non-union sounds better.
There's more money in non-union. But hey, you're working on a non-union job. He pays you every 2 weeks.
I know.
Maybe he doesn't pay you every 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and
but
who do you have to go to?
But another thing too is a lot of these guys that are working aren't taking care of their retirement. I know we keep talking about it, but it's that important. So,
you know what? You're bringing a really good point there.
15
Carlito.
years goes by, and all of a sudden you could be retired.
Vince, you're 24 years old. Have you started thinking about that?
Thinking about it, yep, absolutely.
Have you done anything about it?
Done anything as in like putting a shovel in the ground? No. I want to. My plan is
Wait a minute. Put
investment
your
in
shovel
real
on the
estate.
ground.
You know, like actually
Bears?
starting like a
Figure speech.
figure speech.
I was like, what?
Construction figure speech.
Okay, so are you worried about that? Or are you thinking when I hit 30 or 34, that's when I'm going to start to get serious about it?
When the time is right. When the time is right, when you know in your gut
Who are you going to speak to find out what to do?
about my investments or about my
Just about your
or-
retirement, about your plans, because I mean, we all eventually have to stop construction and we all actually want to live. Some of us want to live a lot sooner, so then we don't. As much as we're passionate about it, I think we want to get to a certain age where we can pick and choose the jobs that we want to do.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right? So then maybe you could be at a certain age and go, you know what? I only want to do one job. It's going to be that job. That's going to be my hero job. So if you could do it in your 40s or your 50s or your 60s, then great, by all means do it. But I think that's the path that we're all headed to. We don't want to be 60, 70 and actually running and doing the daily grind and getting up at 6 in the morning. We don't want
You got to
that.
think about the future.
Yeah. So I was curious, as a 24-year-old, I mean, me 24, I wasn't thinking that.
Are you buying a house? Or, like, are you planning to?
I'm planning to. I mean, I'm not in the market right now, but it's something I want to do. That's how you retire.
Well, Italians are very well known
yeah.
for buying property and making millions.
Especially in Woodbridge.
In Woodbridge. So right now you're currently on the commercial work, or are you doing resi?
Right now I'm on a commercial site. Yeah.
You're on a commercial site. You like the commercial sites?
It's cool. A lot of
Really,
work.
huh?
The volume's there. But
That's what he keeps on talking about.
and the volume is definitely there. But it's kind of every day is the same.
New commercial sites?
Yeah.
Brand spanking
Brand
new.
spanking new.
Those horrible condo units that you
Oh,
know
yeah,
that
baby.
everybody will hear everybody and everybody will smell everybody's food.
Yep. Those poor bastards.
That's not true.
That's very true.
I have a lot of friends that live in high rise, and
And they don't smell anything? They don't smell
I don't
weed?
smell anything.
They don't smell curry? They don't smell any of that?
you got to pick your building. You got to pick your area.
Okay, just saying.
The only time I smell anything is when you open the door, like going to hallway. That's really
And you never open the door when you're in your condo.
no. I'm saying like the people that I know have chosen their what they want to live around and what kind of smells they want to have.
Vincent, what would you change in commercial? Is there anything in commercial? So are you're painting, you're plastering, or what are you doing?
Okay, so I'm a finishing contractor. So I'm a painter by trade. I've done it forever. I can do it blindfolded.
Since you're 11,
Yeah. Well, part-time since I'm 11. I don't want people to think, oh, this kid doesn't, he hasn't been doing it for 25 years. But yeah, you fill so many holes, you get pretty good.
yeah.
I'll take your project from studs to moving if you want. But I really want to focus in the real high-quality painting job. And you can't get a high-quality painting job unless you have a real high-quality drywall job.
Totally agree.
So well
And
said.
Totally agree.
And there's literally the only way you're going to get a good painting job. The only way is a good drywall job. That's it. You can't, pay your electrician anymore for better lighting to make your paint look good or any of that shit. It's got to be what's before your trade.
That's funny, eh? You either talk to the electrician to help him with the lighting to
you get
make
more
your work
expensive
look
lights.
better, or talk to the drywaller to actually make the job look better.
Yeah, like I'm helping out a guy right now. I'm helping him finish a couple projects he took over from another contractor that was released. You wouldn't believe that all the crowns are in and out through the whole house.
Before, I would hear you guys say, crowns in and out. I had no idea what you were talking about. But you walk into a newly framed house and you put a string line from corner to corner. Holy shit, man. Holy. It's you can fit your fingers. I got huge fingers, but I'm fitting my fingers in between the string and the stud.
Stevie Wonder can see all the crowns in and out on the job that I'm on right now, man.
But that's how important it is. So we're doing a backsplash on a kitchen, and you can't even lay tile on it. So I have to remove all the drywall. Now, the studs are spray foamed in.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
And what do I see? The biggest butcher hack job. The guy. This is an old trick of framers. Instead of taking the lumber, and you should have a couple extra sticks of lumber on your job site. It should
Grading
be
it?
piled properly. All they do is 45 cut it until it's almost all the way through, 75% of the way through. And then stick a nail in it. Then the spray foam comes along, 5/8 into.
Did it push the stud?
Pushes it
Oh, shit.
into the house 5/8. Then the drywaller doesn't say anything to the contractor. The framer doesn't say anything to the contractor. The drywaller doesn't say anything to the contractor.
Do you like that trick?
No, I hate it.
First time I saw that trick, I was like, okay, that's not going to last.
No, because
That's a quick fist, right?
That stud should be used for chopping up for blocking.
Yeah.
It should be for blocking. It should be for bulkheads. It should be for something stupid.
But okay, so you're on the condo project and you're working solo?
Solo, yeah. There's other tapers there, but me, it's like in my...
You're handling your
I'm
section.
handling my own section.
You don't go ballistic working solo? I remember
I couldn't sleep
very
the first night. I reached out on Instagram to some guys I went to high school.
Yeah.
Oh, I got this job. I don't know what to do. Can you help me? And you know what? I couldn't sleep for that first couple days into it. You get the hang of it, and you know.
And you like it?
You know, once you learn what you can do, like, holy man. Okay, so at this condo job, I'm doing new board and the ceilings. So the ceilings, they want, like the concrete ceilings, the decks. So they want you to prime these ceilings with...
so bare concrete.
Bare concrete.
And they want you to, how do you finish that?
This is how they want me to do it. Now, again, this is a non-union outfit.
Can you tell us both ways? Tell them how you want it and how you would do it.
The proper way and the...
First, start with their way.
The DIY. Okay, so their way, what they wanted me to do was prime... Well, because this is actually what I'm doing. So, I mean, I know it's not the proper way, but hey...
Okay, let's hear the...
Well, it's minimum code.
It's minimum... Yeah, you know, that's exactly
It doesn't mean
it is,
it's not the
Carlito.
proper
Yeah,
way. It
that's
just
right.
means it's minimum code.
It's minimum code. And this is word for word from the company. So, paint the ceilings with paint... Skim coat with plaster, sand. That's it. Okay, so what that really means is the Valspar Rona primer they're going to give you on site, you're going to use that to spray the ceilings. Then you're going to take the CGC machine mud and use that on the ceilings. And I go, okay, where's my dirt? Okay, if I'm going to go with a gypsum type ceiling here, as opposed to a lime...
That's what they want you to do?
For them, they think it's easier. They can call any Joe Schmo tape. And this is a non-union, right? So they don't have to go to a union and look for a lime plaster mechanic. They can get any guy who knows how to use a hawk and trowel and go finish my ceiling.
happens?
Hey, you scrape stucco ceilings? I got 120 units to skim. You don't need a union qualified lime, like a Kirin KR plaster. You don't need one of those guys on a non-union site. They
would just laugh at them.
Not even that, not laugh. Because when I asked, like, where's the lime plaster? Because, you know, I'm like, there's a lot of... And I'm trying to dumb it down in front of this guy. He's a kid, too. The guy who works at the drywall company on my first day. I go, there's a lot of chemicals in concrete. Don't you think it's going to peel?
Yeah.
Oh, but, you know, maybe we seal it and, you know, you just go. I don't think he knew himself. He's just telling him what the owner told him. You know, that's the thing about...
Well, he's one of those guys from the box store just repeating what he was told to sell.
It almost sounds like broken construction telephone.
It almost seems unreal, to be honest, because you're thinking to myself... I'm thinking, are you sure? I'm looking at him. Are you sure?
Because you're doing the math, and it doesn't
I'm doing the work. I'm the one putting the shit on the ceilings. I want to make sure I'm not fucking these homeowners.
So how would you do it?
Lime plaster with a Unical base plaster.
Well said.
Something with lime, something that's going to bond with the concrete, has the same kind of properties. Even if you're using a taping mud mix, like, okay... The way I'm doing it is I'm getting taping mud, the CGC yellow. I'm putting 3 scoops.
You mean Certainteen?
Yes,
the yellow box
yellow.
is Certainty. Yeah.
It's again they got CGC Certainty. It's all.
Yeah.
It's kind of an unorganized.
No, I actually like the Certainteen yellow with my machines.
It's got a lot more glue.
Yeah,
it's
with
got
the
a
machines.
lot more glue. I'm putting for every bag of Durabond, I'm putting 3 scoops of taping mud just because I want a little bit of that creamy glue. Because Durabond doesn't finish nice, even though I'm using it for the first and second coat. It's still gonna leave little granules in your finish. So adding that taping mud is almost like
that problem.
Hey, I'm not Croatian. Putting that 3 scoops of taping mud in there, it's like a mortar mate, that clay product that Marcelino, and I listen to every podcast, so hey, I know what everyone's
That's amazing.
using out
Thank
there.
you.
It's like a mortar mate. It makes it creamy, so it's a lot easier to work with, and it also kind of gets rid of that 90-minute drying time. You know, it gives you maybe an hour and a half. An hour and a half is 90 minutes, like 2 hours instead of 90 minutes.
Well, it extends it.
A little bit. It's still going to hard chemically. So even if you cover that bucket, it's still going to cure.
You're putting a chemical dry into an air dry.
You're putting an air dry into
an air dry into a chemical dry, yeah.
Yeah, just to extend it a little bit. But again...
And weaken it.
Weaken it as well, right?
So
you're not at full strength.
You're not priming that bare concrete.
I'm priming the concrete.
You're still priming it.
Yeah, and the primer I'm putting on the ceiling
is...
It's what they give me. It's the Rona.
No. I wanted to go back to how you would really do it instead of the way they want you to do it. So you're using a lime base, but you're not priming that concrete before.
I don't think you have to prime it.
You let the lime base attack that concrete, and it bonds directly into that concrete.
And you know what? I'm happy you said that because I don't want to get into, products, but
Why not? It's a podcast.
That product
I'd
from
like to get into
that product
products.
from
Get into
Rona,
products.
I just don't feel like it's. I don't feel like it's the proper paint. I find that it's very. It builds a skin up and it
What is
peels.
this? What is this?
The primer
Which one?
from Rona.
Which one?
The
This is like
Valspar is
$60
Lowe's,
contractor grade
guys.
Valspar. No, this is a Valspar. It says Rona on the pail. Like I don't know where they got
What
this. Whether it's
the-
off a truck.
But
I
or-
wouldn't know.
it skins up, and what happens is with anything that skins up, like Bear has that problem.
Mm-hmm.
And this podcast is brought to you by Valspar.
Well, anyways, Bear has that problem also that I've run into. It builds a skin,
Mm-hmm.
and that skin peels. So you're not getting it. You're not anchoring it
You're not
or
getting that
adhering
full,
to the
chemical-
concrete.
Yeah.
So I'm just like
You're
you.
almost forming you're almost decoupling the plaster from the concrete when you're spraying that primer.
Yeah. I think the
I
only
believe that.
time that you should have primer on there is if there was already a CGC product that was already up on there. Because you can't put Durabond over CGC, but you could put CGC over top of Durabond.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Because you can't put something hard over something soft, right?
I didn't. In fact, I didn't
yes,
think of
you
it
can.
that way.
You can, but you'll have problems.
I was always thinking about the chemical properties as opposed to the physical hardness
Yeah,
of
so
the plasters.
in
Okay, interesting.
in my experiences, anytime that I'm going to use Durabond over any products that have already been put on that are a soft product like Certainteen or
wouldn't recommend it.
CGC, I prime, let it dry for 24 hours. I come back and then I'll Durabond over top. Then I have a new start.
Yeah.
Have you heard of any issues from the time, like when you did the way they wanted to do it?
I started on the 5th floor when I got to the site and worked my way up to the 10th. The 4th floor down, so the 4th, 3rd, and the 2nd, they already have little small spider cracking happening where the joints
Peeling.
of no peeling, but small spider cracking.
And that's basically, it's not bonding. It's starting
I'm not
to.
It's
sure
not
if-
breathing.
I have a feeling it's okay. So when that concrete slab gets really cold in the winter,
Yep.
from your exterior wall, if you can imagine, you're looking at a curtain wall and
Yep.
where that slab
Building
is,
envelope.
it's going to conduct all that
Yep.
cool hot and cold,
Condensation.
and that's where it's going to happen. It might not happen closer to the hallway side, but it's going to happen closer to your window wall, your exterior wall, because that's, I think, where the concrete's going to conduct all that
Yep.
different temperature, whether it's hot or cold.
Try to explain that to the GC, that you've got
they
a
don't even
cantilever section of concrete that's outside in the elements.
As long as it happens after the warranty and all that kind of stuff. But in this case, it's not. It's happening before they are even occupying the building.
And then they just touch it up.
The service guys
repair
are
it.
looking at me like as if I'm the guy who...
They're responsible.
Oh, are you doing all the ceilings around here? Why are they peeling? Why are they cracking? hey, amigo,
That's a good impression of a Carlito.
So before we interrupt it, because we're so passionate about this, we're getting way too involved. So go on with their way and then your way again. Sorry.
So they want me to prime the ceilings with a primer and then just use a normal CGC mud, Certainteen mud over it, as if it was drywall. You would do that if you had a drywalled ceiling and you just wanted to level 5 it. You wouldn't do this to finish a concrete ceiling. You would want to use a lime plaster.
Yeah, of
Something
course.
with
But lime plaster costs more money. It takes a little bit of effort.
it takes a lot more effort because you need a guy there mixing your mud. You need a guy there working it with you. Like I can work alone with the CGC mud. I can do 10 units in a day and not have to worry. Come back and do a 10 units second coat and 10 units third coat. With this, I have to start and finish that unit. It's a lot easier to work with the CGC mud. I'm almost happy that they're doing it the wrong way, to be honest.
No,
non-union.
but I mean that lime sticks to everything.
Lime sticks to everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
They wouldn't get away with this in a union company. There's no way because there's a board of it's called the wall assembly system
Yeah.
people or the interior finishing system. Anyway, in the union, it's like a board of people, and it's like an association for wall finishing and ceiling finishes and all that kind of stuff.
So table of contents for what
They would
has
know
to happen.
that's the wrong way of doing it, and
Yeah, but we do
It
that.
just wouldn't happen on a union site.
we-
They would do it properly, everything.
We do it on our customs, and everybody.
But that's a different thing. On
Yeah.
a custom home, we have a drywalled ceiling.
yeah.
We're talking commercial here.
Yeah,
But it's good to hear
commercial
this because we talk so much residential. It's nice to hear something commercial here.
I walked onto the site not knowing other than the first building I was at for a little bit, I had no idea what commercial land was. I was walking in from like a prison type environment, kind of union. Everyone's hanging over the balcony with their smoke,
Prison
looking at
type.
you, like, whatever.
Military?
Into like a more of a friendly kind of
Laid back.
little more laid back. It's a lot more laid back, I think. There's
Yeah, in a union company, there's no time to be on your phone.
yeah,
Don't talk.
there's no time
Like,
to
no
make
time to
mistakes,
talk.
like using the wrong material on the job. There's no
Yeah.
mistake. There's no time for that.
Yeah, and if you do make mistakes
You're
in
out of the
union
union.
company,
Your
no,
company's
well,
out
you're not out of the union. You're
Oh,
going to go to
your
another
reputa-
company,
No,
and you're
but the union's going to look at you and say, you're not going to be part of our union if you're, I mean, it's a lot harder than that. But if you have a reputation of doing improper work, wrong work and stuff, I'm pretty sure the union's going to get rid of you.
well, they
just
just won't
because-
use you. They'll know who you are, right? They can't say they can't use you. They just won't give you any work.
That's right. Yeah,
So how much longer are you going to stay on commercial land? Have you learned what you want to learn? Or are you still learning?
I definitely, commercial land gave me my systems. I can run with it now. I can do a building, not a problem. A house, not a problem. Because I learned that production from the union. I know when I'm going to start a job, I'm not going to pull a box worth of tapes and then go put those tapes up. I'm going to get maybe 3 or 4 boxes and maybe like a recycling bin from my bedroom, fill it up with as much tape as I can, and have all 4 boxes ready to go so I can slam all 4 boxes of tape.
Are people
instead
still
of-
applying tape that way?
Oh, yeah.
The tape puller is the way to go, man. When I bought my first banjo years ago, I thought I was gonna kick ass. Oh my god, man! Pulling
Really?
tape out of a pail is amazing.
Really?
Oh yeah, you don't have to.
You
refill
just
your
have to
tape
wear
puller.
gloves. It'll eat your hands.
Honestly, I can't wear gloves. I don't know what it is. The fingers.
That
might
lime's
slip.
that lime is gonna get
But
you
I
eventually.
do have a pail with me that I'm always washing, like rubbing.
Yeah, but there's hardeners
I know.
in there, and
Yeah.
it's taking all those
Yeah.
proteins out of your hand.
Carlito, I've listened to every podcast, man. You've taught me a lot about safety and with the products.
Finally.
Eating
Yeah,
protein cells.
Teddy's podcast
Teddy's
was like
podcast,
that
yeah.
whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
So you're
huge.
obviously wearing masks
Yeah.
when you're
Oh, yeah.
sanding.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's a big deal, right?
And there's something you're saying there that in residential there's drywall everywhere, but in condos you're butting drywall to concrete all over the place, side walls, demising walls. There's solid concrete pours. You're going right to the roof, right? So you have to. But another thing too is guys with machines, they never pre-fill enough.
Yeah.
So when you're
Or if
doing
they're pre-filling, they're pre-filling with the mud, not like a
Durabond.
Durabond. Yeah, something that's going to dry.
The thing
with
is,
air.
most drywall guys, plaster guys, don't even know what Durabond is.
But just so you know, for the guys listening out there, that serpentine yellow is the Durabond of machines.
The Continental Black is the Durabond of the machines.
Continental.
Who makes Continental Black?
Continental.
I don't know who
CSR
Continental.
carries them.
Oh, do they
Comes
really?
in I think it's a gray box now, but the old ones were black.
So who's Continental?
It almost looks like.
Is it a John Wick thing?
It almost looks
What's
like the
going on?
Suprema kind of logo with the elephant, but it's like a rhino.
Really?
Yeah, Continental Drywall. Yep.
Where are they from? The States?
I don't know. CSR carries them.
I haven't tried them yet.
Oh, they're awesome. There's like a film of glue on the box when you open it up.
Wow.
Yeah,
But it's
apparently
made for
it's-
machines. Or are
I
you
guess
hand
you can-
taping still?
I don't use machines.
It's
I only use
pre-mixed.
corner machines.
Okay.
Yeah, this comes in a box just like the red.
You don't
yellow
use machines. Your trowel, hawk.
Hawk and trowel. Yeah, I only use machines on my corners because I mean, hey, corners both
Corners
sides.
are corners.
Corners are corners.
But on all the beats, you're using a trowel hawk.
14-inch
Wow.
level 5 trowel. Yeah.
Because that's
the
how
only
you were
one.
taught.
That's the way I was taught. Yeah.
All the
I was
cool
never
kids-
taught on the knife.
All the
knife
cool
and
kids on
pan-
social media, they're machines.
Oh man, I don't even want to hear about the pan. When I see a
pan?
fucking pan, I just go
is that for?
go in that
You know
art
what?
room.
To tell you the truth, I think I saw that pan on that TV show that you were on quite a number of
You're
times.
so stupid.
I'm telling you the truth, it was.
not with me around.
Yes, it
If
was.
someone had a pan, they should have had a wheelchair with the
Actually, I'm
pan.
pretty sure it's that new one on the island there. He's using a pen.
Uh-oh.
I got enough hints. I've listened to enough podcasts.
What are you talking about?
You
Hang on.
can't-
That reminds me. I got to pick up some magic erasers.
Or Tide Pods. Or,
No, there was another joke going on there.
Wait a minute. Don't get ahead of yourself.
endorsement.
It is now time for Carlito's Green Book.
Well, unfortunately, this will be the last of my little
No, it
cheat
will
sheets.
not. You have to do
I
some
have to
homework.
download a whole
Oh,
bunch of new
God.
homework, so this one will be a little bit lame. But I'm glad that we're in commercials.
Do you like the Green Books, Vince?
love them. It's a lot.
Okay, it
It's
stays,
important.
it stays for now.
It's important. So you know the game. It's first offense. How much? Manny always says 550. So
That's not true. That's not true.
work or operating machine so as effective excavation wall stability.
Huh? Say that again.
So worker operating machine
Yes.
so as effective excavation wall stability.
So as effective. What do you mean by that?
So that means structurally like
You're affecting
supporting the wall and not making it.
So excavating something that's going to compromise the structure.
That's right.
Yes.
So what would like if an inspector came by and saw Manny on an excavator and it wasn't properly
550.
If I saw Manny on an excavator digging too close to those footings, that's a 1500.
You don't
easy.
want to see me in an excavator, man.
Especially
Anyways,
with no rooftop.
I can
Once you get
tell-
into your basement.
I can tell none of you guys have the proper numbers, so I'm going to tell you it's 250. But you know what? I'm going to get a whole bunch of new ones because these are way too many commercial. I'm going to start separating them to the trades coming in.
Please do, because this is the 90th show and we have a few
Yeah.
more
Well,
shows
you know
to
what?
do,
I've just
so.
been going down the list. It's and most of these are really stupid, but for people that are, doing excavation, they should actually hear this.
And by the way, there's a guy on the Mini X at the site I'm doing the landscape on the site that I'm at, the condo building. He's in a Mini X, leaves it running all the time.
Wow.
They're putting the curbs in, the little planter pots in the front of the building.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that thing's
That's
idling all the time.
550
That's
right there.
I was gonna go, hey, Kara, that's 550 right there, my friend. Let's go. Who are you gonna pay?
That's a first offense.
And that was Carlito's Green Book time.
Yes, and I will be definitely updating some very new,
Something
interesting
interesting
stuff.
next week's for Carlito's Green Book time. Back to Vincent. So, Vincent, you built your first house, or you were working on your first house right outside of school?
No, I didn't
No.
build my first house. I renovated it. No,
You
so
renovated it, right?
Yeah, my brother-in-law and my sister, they got a house, and I just gave them the full.
What did you do? The whole thing?
Yeah, we did pretty well the whole thing. The kitchen, the bathroom, bedroom.
How was that experience?
It was awesome. I learned that's actually where I learned how to tape because, I mean,
You got to experiment. You got to try.
I got to experiment, and also I wanted to. Yeah, I mean, I took that house and I made it like my experiment house. That's where I did my first level 5. I walk in that kitchen, the wall where their banquette is.
So
that's
you
the
took
first
you did level
wall.
5 on that one.
Oh yeah. I built him a 9-box waffle ceiling with the inch and 5/8 stud. 200 feet of beads. None of this
Wow,
one piece crap.
that's
Come
not
on.
easy, eh?
Oh,
when
man.
you're doing
I
it with
know.
steel studs,
Especially when you're 18.
it is not
I
easy.
know.
Okay, so let me ask you: are you a fan of Trimtex?
I like the tearaways.
Yeah, I like
Those
that.
are
Too.
Yep.
crazy, man. Those are all the windows at the building.
Are you
They're
a
all
metal
tearaways.
corner bead or plastic corner
I'm
bead?
a
guy?
metal corner bead with contact cement.
You're too young to be a metal corner bead guy.
You're
Once
too old to
again,
be a vinyl guy.
all the
Oh, sorry.
no, that's actually a really good point. I'm gonna make a note of that. You're too really.
You guys should be using the mesh, right, with the horsehair and
So you're using
the
contact
rounded
cement.
piece of wood. Isn't that how they did it back in the day?
Oh, I love your
I'm
attitude.
seeing it from the commercial. So these guys are on the exterior walls where the steel studs are higher gauge, and that drywall screw won't go through the exterior studs so easily.
Yeah.
They'll use contact cement as opposed to drywall screws, and that contact cement, that bead is never coming off.
Well,
that bead is never coming
Really?
off.
You'll
But
never
that
get
contact-
You don't have to
split. You'll
tape
never.
it. You don't
No.
have to tape it,
But that
guaranteed.
contact cement too is flexing.
Is
So
it?
it's actually
It's
better
74.
than screws. When you set
Oh, it's
something
better
with
than-
glue,
absolutely. Yep.
it can move with
right.
the flexibility.
And
What
and that bead is only attached to the drywall, not the studs. So it's moving with that.
That's
that
right.
one, there's only one kind of movement. I don't really know if that's
Okay,
the right
but all
term,
the cool kids are talking about the vinyl and spraying the vinyl and putting it in place on vinyl, and you could put a hammer to the vinyl and it'll fucking bounce back like your Saturn, whatever car that was. Remember that car?
No, you're right. SL2.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised that you're a metal guy.
I like it. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
it's-
interesting.
I don't know. I've never used a mud set bead though, so I'm biased like that.
But
I've only
also,
used metal.
you've been spoiled because you've been working with a lot of metal. Commercial, they don't have very much wood, and if it is wood, it's
The only wood I saw
fire
were
rated
the
wood.
2x2s around the door frames to accept the casings for
Yeah,
pre-hung doors.
and you're
That's
putting that inside the tracker stud.
it. Inside the track. You
Yeah.
don't even see it from the outside. Yeah.
That's right. So, what are you doing right now in residential? Anything?
When it comes to residential, just painting with Virgilio. We're doing very high-end homes. We just finished one in Kleinberg and Oakville. These are 10,000 square foot plus, like dream houses.
Family of 4, 10,000 square feet.
Well, it's usually a family of 2. But these aren't like, okay.
Wow.
The husband
I've
and
heard the
mistress.
McMansion, and again, hit the ground laughing. That was an amazing one.
McMansion.
Oh, amazing.
I know.
These aren't okay, I'm going to fill my 10,000 square foot house with drywall and just put 10-foot ceilings to make it look nice. Those 10-foot ceilings are going to have a waffle ceiling in every friggin' room. Those 10-foot walls are going to be full of paneling with 14-inch baseboards, and just really high-end work. And I mean, that's what he's known for. Like, he won't touch a new repaint, just moved into a house kind of thing.
Plaster or styrofoam molded? Wood?
I like the styrofoam.
Excellent.
But
I hate but. It always is bullshit.
You have to properly paint those things. You have to prime those just as like you're priming any sort of wood molding.
So 3 coats.
Maybe not 3 coats. Maybe you can get away with maybe 1 coat of primer and 1 coat of flat. But the thing with the product, the styrofoam molding, the finish is not as superior than solid plaster.
Do you know what foam they're using?
Just
like Cannonball?
The Cannonmold is a nice sort of... Remember Plasticrete when they were around?
Plasticrete was great.
Their finish was actually, sorry to say, but it kind of sucked.
Did it really?
It did not paint well, man.
Have you ever used foam core?
I've used it.
Foam core, no. Only Cannonmold and Plasticrete.
Okay.
But the thing about Plasticrete,
So
they
when
used
it
the mesh.
painted-
It was a much stronger product.
Yeah.
But the finish wasn't as superior.
Really, huh?
Yeah, it pitted. It didn't look like a nice smooth... Like, it didn't... If you're tying that into a kitchen, say... It wouldn't look as it didn't have that shiny surface as like solid plaster.
Well, see, that's the problem that
That's
I
why
always
you have
had.
to prime first and seal it. You have to seal it.
There's always that argument about the crown of the kitchen cabinet.
Yeah.
Does it belong to the crown of the house, or does it belong to the cabinetry? But then the cabinetry has to match the crown of the house. Then it's a cost thing. So then they say, well, let's just run the crown from. But then you're right. You'll never get a match finish to the cabinetry because it's a different product. It's a different finish.
Yeah.
It's
But
treated
if
differently.
organized properly, it can. The last house I flipped, I made sure that the kitchen was the most important for the crown, and then the rest of the house was the takeoff from the kitchen.
A contractor who looks at that detail so far in advance before it's boarded, before the kitchen layout's even thought of how you want your crown to look in your kitchen before you even built that kitchen, you're thinking ahead, man.
Yeah,
that project's going to be a kick-ass kitchen because
that's important.
It'll look like it's never been touched. It was built like that.
Can I ask you? You threw at me the blue-collared comment a little earlier. You're doing huge custom houses.
Well, Virgilio is. I work for Virgilio.
Is he doing anything different that he wouldn't do at a blue-collared home?
Okay, Virgilio's system is Virgilio's system. There's no blue collar. There's no white collar system. It's if you don't want Virgilio's system, you're going to call College Pro. Or you're going to call another painting company.
College Pro's still around?
Any
I think it was a figure
I
of
only
speech.
said College Pro because I saw
check.
them on the exit at the 427 there.
Got it. Okay. All right. I didn't know that they were around still.
If you're hiring him, you're hiring him for his system. His guarantee at the end of the day that paint job is going to be perfect. And his efficiency too. Like, he's not going to spend a week filling some holes and then caulking and priming and sanding and filling more holes. You're going to start the trim, you're going to fill all your holes, and then you're going to prime, and then you're going to sand, and then you're going to prime again, and then you're going to sand. And
then you're going to caulk.
And then you're going to caulk. That system doesn't vary whether I'm going into a $1 million house, $3 million, or $550,000. It's when I leave, that door is going to look perfect. Whether it's a blue collar worker, white collar kind of thing. His professional painting service is his professional painting service.
Is your system different for darker tones?
For darker tones, you just have to make sure that the surface you're painting on is nice and smooth. A level 5 would be great. A level 5 and a flattened render would be even better because you don't get that.
Now, when you say level 5, you're not saying level 5 paint. You're saying level 5 skim.
No, hot control, you're putting a few coats on.
Because a lot of people get mixed up because there are level 5 primers.
What did you say? Render? What do you mean? A perfect render?
That's what level 5 is.
You can put your nice 8-foot Derby on that, and you don't see any light coming through. You can pretty well spray that wall with a gloss product, and you don't get that sort of wavy effect. Now, that's not as easy as it sounds.
No,
I'm experimenting on my own.
But the trick is, you know what the trick is, right?
You have to get surface flat.
No, you go with you go with the floor joists. That way you fill in the waves.
You have to go with the floor joist, but you also have to go in a north, south, and then east, west direction.
Yeah, you know what?
I
used to talk like that, and I found that as long as I went with the floor joists, I ended up getting a perfect result.
I kind of like what he was saying, where you're doing 2 passes, right?
Well, you have to anyways, right?
As many as you need.
So then I would
Yeah.
cross the patches, so then you know that you cover all the bases. No.
Where it's necessary, you'll know.
Yeah, no, for sure. If you put a line on something and it's
For-
pretty well flat, you can go,
What's
with the joists.
What's the
it's
biggest
fine.
derby
But
that's out there?
you can get a 14, I think.
14.
I mean, you're
foot?
ordering these things in. You're not going to, CSR drywall and just picking these things up.
What is it? A 1-man 14-foot derby? No way, man. How does that work?
Hey, man, they come along.
What a
Right now,
skim that is, eh?
That's a big skim. I'm waiting for my 10-footer to come in from Mississauga Hardware. Thank you very much, Derek and Tony. From there.
Tony's bringing you in
yeah.
a 10-footer, eh?
2 of them.
2 of them.
I ordered one and I called back and said, Derek, I need another one. 10s and 11s now are pretty well.
So
And you're
you
running
do level
10s
5,
and
you
11s on the
skim
main
everything?
floor. Second floor is usually 9 and 9.5. Unless you're going
What are you, can I ask you, what are you charging to do a level 5 skim?
a level 5 skim with 9-foot ceilings running in and around $4 to $5 a foot.
That's cheap, man.
Is it?
That's really cheap. You better
Where do you get your
look at your
pricing?
numbers.
You got your pricing from what?
I'm taking my pricing from how much material do I need from this job? How long is it going to take me? And that's pretty well it. I'm starting off in this business, so I don't have, years of, that $4 to $5 a foot to say, that's good enough, or that's
Is that just a skim, or is that sanding? Is that priming?
2 coats of finish. Skim the walls 2 times. I'm not making those walls flat. I'm just making them smooth. I'm getting rid of that paint texture, and that's all.
Okay.
And
You-
I am priming it after.
You know what I would suggest, and I tell this to everybody, you really need to figure out your worth.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm working
I
on.
get it that
That's what I'm
you're
working
thinking that you're younger and you're just getting started. But the thing is, if you've got a really good skill set, it doesn't matter if you're like 20, 21, you're like 1 year in, 2 year in. You need to figure out your worth.
I'm happy you're saying that, because I had this other conversation with
and sorry, before we go into this, that my price, that's not trying to, I that's not me knowing people are charging 12 and I'm undercutting them at 4. That's just
what's been working for you.
It all depends on the job too.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
No, every job is different. You've
Every
got
job is
to, yeah,
different.
just like Carlito says, construction, there's no set
And it's
price,
also what
right?
they want too. If they want those
Yeah.
walls flat, there's no way in hell you're going in at $5.
No.
There's just no.
No.
You're
What are you
not
charging,
with all that
Carlito?
work.
What are you charging?
I don't even want to tell you. It took me 30 years to get what I have. That's one trade secret I'm going to keep, because I have a different system than everybody else. I use oil-based primer first. I use
But this is
Durban
also just
second.
for getting rid of your paint texture.
Yeah.
Put 2 coats of CGC mud over your walls, and that's it.
Yeah,
if you want
that's good. I just thought
Your
you
board
were
hung, your
yeah.
flat walls, and that kind of stuff. Whole different ballgame. I've never priced the full house, new board, new thing. That'll be, I'm sure, well over 10. We're looking at 10 to
But
12.
you know what? I also do something different than everybody else. Like, I have my square foot price, and I also look at my helper that I have with me. My helpers are always usually different. They're never the same guys.
Why? They don't like you?
Project to project, I don't hang on to them. It's like contractors. Most contractors don't use the same electrician on every job. They don't use the
do.
same plumber on every job.
I do.
You keep competition strong that way sometimes, and sometimes you keep them a little bit more honest and a little bit. I find that when you keep someone for too long, they get a little lazy. They start to slack off. They start to get relaxed.
They're too comfortable.
Yeah. And I don't enjoy that. So what I do is I spend some time with somebody. If I feel that somebody has the character that I'm looking for, that's like myself, I won't lose them. The guy I have with me right now, he's actually pushing me. So
Awesome.
yeah. Getting back to the prices is when I say there's no set price in construction. Yeah. If I'm working with you or I'm working with Manny, it's going to be 2 different prices, because Manny Manny will be slower than you are. And I have to make money with him.
Guess who's not coming to my job site tomorrow?
No, it's a figure of speech. So I take both into consideration. So I'll look at scenarios too. Like,
Let's talk about finishing.
wait, I wanted to say something. We were on top
What?
of something. You said something very important there.
What did I say?
I wanted to say to the listeners out there, I spent my whole life buying tools, every single tool for every application and every part of the job. I now have 2 huge shipping containers full of tools. And what I'm leading to is, don't be like me and have all the tools, because it's just a waste of life. Pick what you want to be good at. And if you want to be a GC and you want to do it all, then pick your trades and focus on that. If you want to be a drywall mudder, stay with that. Keep your trade small and or focused on what you want to do, because you can get lost like me. And like one of the guys said, "Hey man, you do everything," and I'm like, you know what? This is absolutely ridiculous. I do everything. I'm not focusing on anything, so I'm lost. So I just wanted to share that.
Hey man, let's just get back to Vince. How are you loving all the new finishes, like those really piano finish?
No one wants to.
They don't want to pay for it?
They don't even want that.
They don't
Honestly,
want that?
Maybe I'm talking to the wrong homeowners. Maybe I'm talking to the wrong
That's
people.
all I see. A lot of designers are asking for that, but the problem is that there's only a handful of guys that actually do it properly.
And well, too.
Yeah.
You know, there's no way I could attempt one of those. But
Why?
Virgilio, blindfolded. You know,
Really?
He's been doing it since, who knows, a long, long time, man.
I love that finish.
Oh, it's amazing. It's incredible. But again, you need that flat surface. Like
And
you
back
need
to
it
the drywall.
flat.
Back.
Flat.
To the
not
source.
Smooth. Yeah.
What tools are you using for your mud tools?
I like level 5. I stay away from the Nella. Nella is cool for taping, but for skim coating, it has a little bit of a curve. And that's not good in my level 5 world. For taping, a little bit of a curve isn't too bad. For hawks, I got the 16-inch craft hawk. I like the nice big hawks. Then I got an 18-inch craft trowel. But really, it's just the 14-inch and the 18-inch. That's what I'm using for trowels. Nothing smaller, nothing.
The more important question, what do you
And I'm
make?
not using any of those friggin' skimming blades either. I don't know. They
I
shouldn't
am.
even be called skimming blades. They should
love
be called
them.
like
Man, you're just going to upset
straightening blades.
You're upsetting all the cool
can't
kids
skim with them.
on social media.
Hey, wait a second. I'm one of those cool kids.
You're not going to make any friends,
You know what?
man.
It's changed my life.
Wow. If you say anything negative about Trimtex or any of those machines, everyone just
The
jumps
skimming
all
blades
over
definitely
you.
has changed, things. And it's a lot easier to get that flat surface now. But you can't necessarily use it for a skim coat. You can use it on your first coat to get 48 inches of a true surface. But on your first
I use
coat,
them for last. I don't use them for first or second.
More
I won't touch
importantly,
anything but my 18.
what are you
first.
mixing the mud with? What brand tool are you using there?
Come on, you think I'm using one of those rigid mixing drills? It's a Makita.
I don't know what you're
man.
using. I don't know what you're using.
The Makita mixer.
Wow.
I don't even know the model name. It's just the
European.
Makita mixer.
European.
You know,
That's all it is.
Manny's going to hate this, but I have this old gun DeWalt style spinner, and I'm telling you, you can't kill this thing. I have been using it for decades, and I'm pretty proud of that DeWalt.
And my mixer I'm using isn't the standard box mixer either. That's the Sheetrock 4-blade paddle. That mixer is a beast, man. That'll suck your mud right down to the bottom, mix everything up nice. Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah, because
That
you're
box
using a lot
one I
of.
had before, threw it out.
You're doing a lot
Really?
of pre-mixed, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, it's all pre-mixed.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not. Sorry, when you mean pre-mixed, you're talking box mud.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of box mud.
Yeah.
But powder mud too. For Durabond, it's great because if you're using one of those box ones you see at Home Depot paddles, you're not going to get a real consistent mix. That sheetrock blade, it has like a cross, and with those, it's got a cross blade, so it has 4 blades as opposed to 2.
Yeah.
It just mixes the mud like 3 times quicker. It's amazing. The guy's on site. I'm like, guys, use this mixer. He's like, oh man, where'd you get this? And yeah, man, it's the best mixer out there. You're mixing every day, like 30 times a day. Buy a freaking good
So
mixer.
where do you want your business to go next 10 years? How old's the business now?
The business is 2 years old.
2 years old, brand new.
November 2018.
Where do you want it 10 years from now?
Retired.
Definitely,
No.
definitely with a clientele, but with a small kind of clientele. I see on Instagram these guys who service these real high-end designers like the Laurie Morris and just amazing. If you have a contractor who does work, high-end work and like the true custom work, that one contractor will keep you alive, forever. You don't need 20 different guys. You can stick with her or him for your entire life.
I like that you said that, him or her. Yeah.
Oh yeah. The contractor that gives Virgilio and I most of our work is a woman. She's amazing.
Wow.
The first time I met her, I'm like, holy shit, man, this woman should join the Marine Corps. She's like tough as nails, man. You know what? She's awesome. Very cool.
How did you guys connect with her? She sourced you guys out?
She was doing a renovation 8 years ago, and the client knew Virgilio through whatever, and so she asked, can I use Virgilio to paint? And she said, yeah, great. We went in there. And
Did an amazing job. Impressed her.
Yep. Well, I mean, Virgilio. I'm just a 10-year-old kid watching him do the work, right?
Yeah.
And just ever since then, same contractor, since. And she's never used another painter, like never.
Because you guys are providing a service and that she gets
And
more work from.
Virgilio's customer service. I mean, I've never met someone so like he's really compassionate. Like he just loves.
If
what
he gets
does.
a call back, he's there.
Oh, he's there. Oh my gosh, yeah.
And it's not even a callback. It's always somebody saying it's a callback, but it's an extra always.
And even if you're on the phone and he's saying, oh, he'll even suggest if he has to come out. If you're trying to dabble around, oh, maybe something has to be touched up. Okay, I'm gonna be there and touch it up. You don't have to grab it out of him. He'll offer it to you if you have the relationship with him. If we've been working
I like you
for
said that.
a contractor for so much, you want to make her happy.
Yeah.
I mean, she's been
Someone
so good to us,
someone new
good
you
to
may
her.
not want to do that for right away.
You have to build that trust.
Yeah.
Are you a Titan or Graco?
I have a Titan pump, Graco gun, but Titan tips.
You got a Frankenstein.
I got a Frankenstein. Yeah.
It's the first Frankenstein for us because it's either been Titan or Graco.
You know what? Let me tell you, it all works the same except for the tips. I think Titan.
It's
makes a
all
better tip.
about the tips.
You think
All the
you
tip.
think
Yeah.
Titan tips are better than Graco tips? Really?
I prefer.
Do you find that they last longer and the Graco burn out faster?
I throw them out.
Yeah, I find
Really?
that the Graco I can only use a job or two. Titan I can do 10, 12 jobs.
The thing about Graco, I don't like that whole fine finish, low pressure shit. You want to buy a 408? I got to go buy a fine finish, low pressure 408 as opposed to a 408. A Titan. Okay, so the thing about the low pressure, they don't leave as fine of a finish. I don't know if it's because they're playing around with the orifice size, making the that whole fine finish low thing going on. Titan, you want a 408, they're going to give you a 408, and it's going to leave a finish that a 408 leaves you. And you shoot it at the top, like high pressure, it's going to give you a good finish.
Do you own one of those Graco DeWalt battery?
No. Those
You
things
making
weigh a
fun of
ton,
me?
Man. I've tried one of those before. They weigh a ton.
It's really heavy.
It's
really
discouraging.
Yeah,
heavy.
but you know what?
Even Popeye would go, "What
You
the
look
fuck
at it
is
like, why
this?"
would you want to use that?
I used it for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That battery piece of shit one?
dude.
I can't keep
I
that
had
thing
no
steady.
I had no problems with it. I got videos. I've
I got
sprayed
one
doors,
that's clogged up right now.
fireplaces.
No, that's crap.
Sorry,
Can you spray like ceilings, like upside down kind of work? with it?
I
Or
never
do you need that
I
cut?
never did walls with it.
Okay. Trim.
I only did like
For trim, I'm sure
doors,
it's awesome.
doors, trim, and fireplaces. That's all that was good for.
Maybe one or two kind of things to spray, but like people are saying, oh, would you buy like the DeWalt cordless nailer if you had to go and do a quick shoe mold job or a quick doorstop?
Yes.
It's the same thing like that. You don't have to set up your pump. You don't have to set up all the hoses and shit.
Yeah.
You don't have to clean that thing out.
Well, I just found out 3 days ago, that Milwaukee just introduced a battery-powered compressor, small,
I
tiny.
know.
thing.
I heard that.
It's better than the DeWalt one. Apparently, the DeWalt one's really loud, but I thought that was really good because of those small setups that you don't have to plug in. You just use a battery.
Or
and
you're
apparently-
fighting other contractors for power. You were saying earlier that it's your uncle, right?
Yes.
High expectations. People know and expect only the best from him. Do you find that I find that when I talk highly about my quality of finish over other contractors, so what I'll do is I'll walk into a job and I'll see a whole bunch of imperfections, and that's just not me. And I'll explain to them what my difference is. The expectations of their work change, and it changes the price of the job.
Mm-hmm.
So at first, I price the job for what they asked, but then they expect a higher expectation of finish
Because they know-
and they're not
you know what
paying
you're talking
for
about.
it.
Yeah.
Do you ever find that you have those arguments with those customers?
Am I arguing them saying
That it's extra to get that kind of finish, and you should have figured that out at the beginning.
Aren't you providing that in the
no?
scope of
Because
work?
I'm just telling them this is what I'm going to give you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
So
give
you have one
that
style
sort of
and that's
finish
it.
and that's it.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not a fan of. Oh, give me a price for brushing the doors, and then give me a price for no. Then, dude,
Brushing the
another
doors.
guy.
Oh my God, I-
No, there's certain people actually prefer the look of brush over
Yeah, I know, because
spray.
it looks natural.
When,
and-
if it was for a look, that'd be fine. I'll price you brushing doors all day. But if it's because you think I'm going to give you a lower price to brush a door,
That makes no
kick
sense.
stones,
Yeah, that makes no sense.
By the way, did you just open up the pack of cigars that
Vince was kind enough to
That
bring us
gave
a
us?
box of cigars.
I
here.
can't wait to suckle on that thing?
What's one of the most valuable lessons that your uncle taught you?
Patience.
Patience with
Patience.
clients, patience with other trades, patience just in construction in general.
Just patience when you're doing your work. It takes what it takes. So if a client wants to know how long it's going to take, if you're going to give them an answer in like hours or minutes, it's you're giving them the wrong answer. It's always going to be tomorrow or another day because you're painting. You need your paint to dry, cure, so someone can move on after you. If you're going in to touch up a house, how long is it going to take you? It's going to take me until I'm done touching up your house. And touching up your house, and this is another thing Virgilio doesn't do. Like, he's not going to come and roll a little two square foot patch. Like, he's going to roll from corner to corner, like one coat continuous. You don't get any flashing, no nothing. You're going to tape all your corners. You're going to put the roller right up to the tape, so you don't get any brush texturing. It's all like monolithic. You don't get any different texturing.
In your short career, what's the most valuable thing you've learned so far?
Prep is everything. Prep is everything. Yeah.
It's true.
The more you sand, the more you clean. If you just do your step one more time, put a fourth coat of primer on, you might think you're crazy. What's that fourth coat going to do? But that fourth coat's going to fill in the micro holes, the micro cracks, and it's going to
seal it and give you a new fresh start.
It keeps on getting better.
I like that when we had Flo on, and I like that he actually said that Flo's great. He taught us that you're already there. You're on the job site. You might as well learn as much as you possibly can while you're on the job site. Instead of just punching the clock and going to work for 8 hours, why don't you punch the clock and actually learn for those 8 hours? I thought that was very valuable. That's really important. So you saying prep, that makes a lot of sense. You're paying attention to what to do, how to do it, how to get it better finish. You're actually doing a lot of things in the prep that you're anticipating what the finish literally is the finish going to be at that point. So you've done all this extra work, that extra sand, that extra coat.
You should almost see the finish before you even put the finish on. Your prep is so good. Like that primer should look like a finished, like that primer should look perfectly white. There shouldn't be any sand marks, no nothing. Like that final coat of primer should be like your first coat of finish.
I like that. Huh? You know what? I was gonna say, you may be 24, but you're an old soul. You starting off in construction at such an early age has given you enough experience.
I'm a one-trick pony, though. I don't know much.
No, you know more than you think you know, and you probably know that you know this much. But at 24, you're very wise. Starting at 11 with your uncle has given you a lot of ammunition and experience to start you off so early in this industry to be only successful in the long run.
If I didn't start at 11, I don't think I would be like, I'm happy I started before I was even in high school and before I was even, like old enough to know I'm supposed to be getting paid for this, or, starting so young, it's like going to, like
well, you're not behaving 24. You're much more mature. You're much more mature for your age than like the way you're speaking about construction, the products, the experiences. It's good to see. I wasn't expecting this much.
They have no idea what I'm talking about.
It's fantastic.
My buddies are like, "Hey, bud, you've been talking about paint for a half hour, man." Like,
because then you can talk about paint for a half hour. You could talk about it for 2 hours and 3 hours. There's a lot to talk about.
Not many people they like to talk about the tech shit, the new shit, like the new.
That's bull.
I don't know, the new trends out there, and
that's what I was saying. You're upsetting all the cool kids on Instagram. That's all I'm saying.
Or the old kids.
No. So we're talking to Vincent from Amadeus Custom. What is it? Custom Construction. I like the name, man. You ever see the movie?
You ever hear the song?
What's oh yeah, of course I have. Falco.
You stop that.
we gotta wrap it up, but we have our last segment.
The 10 questions.
You're familiar with this one?
I am.
Oh, really? Look at that, eh? First time caller, long time listener. So here are the questions for you, Vincent. What is your favorite construction word?
Mechanic.
Mechanic. Why?
Instead of being called, the tile guy, the wall guy, the painter guy, you're the painting mechanic, you're the plaster mechanic, you're the tile mechanic. It's more, I don't know.
Professional?
But I would only call, I would call Carlito a tile mechanic. I'd call you a plastering mechanic. I wouldn't call you a tile guy or plaster guy, because you know what the hell you're doing. You look at the job, you're just so, you have more...
I like where you're going with this. Keep going.
Boy, yeah, buttering up Carlito there. I'll give you one better. So there's actually a movie from the 70s with Charles Bronson called The Mechanic, and he's known as the Hitman. So he knows how to fix things. They did a remake with Jason Statham, but it
had some pretty big pipes too.
Yeah, back in the day. What is your least favorite construction word?
Just. Can you just do that? Can you just touch that up? Can you just do...
So well said.
Ask your accountant. Oh, I forgot this receipt under my car, under the seat of my car. Can you just put that in? Can you just do that? Just add it. Just add it.
I like
You're totally right.
What turns you on in construction?
Really well done board work. Every butt joint is chamfered, double screwed. Oh, it's so like it just looks straight.
All those little details.
Yeah,
that's a lot of details. That's above and beyond.
Guys, another thing. I learned about the whole certainty delamination of paper. Holy shit! I'm going through that at the site now. All the freaking board is delaminating. If I didn't hear this podcast, there's no way I would have thought.
Teddy brought that up.
It must have been Teddy. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Learn so much.
Wow, thank you. That's fantastic to hear.
I don't listen to the radio, by the way. FM, AM, no. It's the construction life.
Did you tell your supervisor to maybe listen to the podcast?
No,
and learn something?
I don't want him.
What is your favorite curse
if he is
word?
If he is listening after the 10th floor, man, I'm out of there.
Okay, what is your favorite curse word?
Oh man, anything in patois, Portuguese, anything, man. I'm walking on the site. I'm walking towards the building, right, in the morning, and I hear these Jamaican bricklayers going, and he's talking about, Tony's a blood clot, Tony's this fucking Tony, yeah. And oh man, I'm thinking, if there was someone, walking their dog with their kid, and
blood
the things you hear, mommy, why does Tony have a blood clot? Anyway, any sort of curse and something like that.
And Portuguese, you like the Portuguese ones too,
I love the Portuguese ones, man. Oh my god.
What construction sound or noise do you love?
The sound the hawk and trowel make when you rub them together.
Oh, yeah.
In a room full of finishers, man. It's like
yeah,
the Pirates of the Caribbean, man. It's like ting, ting,
that
ting.
knife.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
I love that one.
Good one. I like that.
What construction sound or noise do you hate?
When the corner bead hits the concrete floor and makes the freaking... Oh, I hate that metal sound when it crashes. Slow stud, corner beads, the worst.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Probably stonemasonry. Not bricklaying, but stonemasonry.
Really?
You actually have to face the stone before you lay it and
You
stuff.
know, I mean, we've had a lot of stonemasons on, concrete guys, and they've made me want to do it.
I was going to do the OYAP program for masonry when I was in high school, but then they said there weren't enough people, so I stuck with the painting.
What profession would you not like to do?
I wouldn't want to be a construction manager or a site super or any of those kind of show up at 7, jump in the site office, come back out for your walk around at 12 and jump back in your site office. Yeah.
Just sleeping.
Yeah.
I know.
Use up all the data on the sites.
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Jesus and John are framing up 10,000 units. They're ready for board. Let's go. Okay. Let's go. 50 cents a foot.
You'll be doing it it won't be about money anymore.
Vincent, what a pleasure, man. We've got a
this
couple
is
little gifties there for you.
Oh, man. Thank
So
you.
you've got some Construction Life espresso
And
cup and
thank
a
you for
coffee
the
cup.
cigars.
Thank you so much for the cigars. We really appreciate that. They will
You will not be getting out of this building with those. Holy shit!
Look at those, eh?
Those are fat ones.
Man, eagles. Man. Okay, there's 3 though. Paper, rock, scissors. Vincent, thank you very much. Guys, check him out. Give him a holler. Have you been reaching out to everybody? Like, have you reached out to Kieran? Have you reached out to Teddy? Have you reached out to any of these
I
guys?
reached out to Kieran like years ago.
Okay, yeah.
I honestly, I might reach out to him again. Who
Reach
knows?
out to
After
him,
this
man. The
building's
guy
done, I'm
wants
gonna
to
be looking
teach.
for
He
work.
wants
Yeah.
to, and Teddy's another resource. We're planning another one with Teddy and another plaster friend of his.
Yeah.
So we've only done the one plaster, and then we did Kieran, and so we want to do more of them. We want to talk more about that finishing stuff, and we definitely encourage you. So I want to just do a bunch of shout outs. Anybody that wants to come on the show, please reach out. Just DM me, send me an email, Manny@hardcorereynolds.com, and just if you want to get on the show, let us know what you want to talk about, and we'll
Make
just
sure
do
you're
it.
passionate and you really respect this industry and you want to make a change.
Yeah, if you want to just come here and butter up Carlito and talk about what his past was
I'm
all
totally
about.
into that.
And I just want to say hello to Dustin and Christian from K&S Company.
Oh, wait a second. Let me finish that with a... What's up, boys?
No, they were fun. They were good. They actually want to get it back on the
You know
show.
what? I'm proud of them. I'm proud of them.
So they're doing really well. Vincent, thank you.
Thank you very much,
for
guys.
sharing your story. Really appreciate it. I know this is a little nerve-wracking, but hopefully we gave you some insight or whatever, and the show, right? So, got anything else to say, Carlito?
Well, you want to be here for another half an hour?
No, I don't.
I think we should bring him back.
No, for sure. Love to have you back. See how you're doing, and then later on in the year, right? Okay, Vincent, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Carlito, get us out of here. Vincent, thank you very much again for the cigars. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much for the story. Reach out to him, guys. It is, I'm trying to get my paperwork here. Amadeus Custom Construction. You don't want to share a number, do you?
Sure, it's my personal.
Okay, there you go. You want to reach out to him? You want to look at? You want to get a really good job out of this guy? 647-984-0896. 647-984-0896. And you'll get a great finishing job from Vincent. Carlito, I think it's time to go.
416 TO, baby. I would the bridge.